Hello, everyone, and welcome to what is probably the hottest ticket in gaming right now. Maybe not the best way to put that, but let's just say that this game is absolutely dominating the market right now. Last I heard, over 20 million worldwide are playing this free-to-play new third-person shooter, which some are already dubbing the Overwatch killer. I'm not ready to go that far. In fact, I'm not really wanting that to be true. But I can talk about that later. Marvel Rivals, which is, it's basically, if you played Overwatch, you kind of have a general idea of what this is like. 6v6 PvP, third person rather than first person, with a pretty decent roster at launch, and also some extra lore and such. There's actually a story going on, believe it or not. We just haven't really gotten to it yet because this is currently what is called Season 0. This game launched, I think, a couple of weeks ago now at this point, and I've been playing it quite a bit. It's been a lot of fun. Not everyone I know personally is playing it right now. There are some that are, some that aren't. Not everyone is ready to hop on the Marvel Rivals bandwagon just yet. Some may try it out at some point. It is free to play, of course. But it does still have some issues. Let's just say, as usual when a game comes out, there are some things that still need to be worked on. But there's a lot of familiar faces here, and some that you're probably not very familiar with either. We already have a pretty decent sized roster here at launch. 33 at launch, including some very familiar names like Black Panther, Black Widow, The Incredible Hulk, Captain America, Doctor Strange, Iron Man. Spider-Man is here, so is Venom and Wolverine and Thor, and then there's some ones you probably have not heard of before, like maybe Cloak and Dagger, or Jeff the Land Shark, or say Squirrel Girl, or Luna Snow, or Magic. So yeah, it's quite a decent roster. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at the roster as well. I'll also talk about some of the other things about how some of these characters work, if you want a general idea. I've been putting in a decent amount of time playing these characters. Well, not every character. I've actually, believe it or not, already been playing... the character I've been playing the most actually has been Mantis. I was kind of gravitating towards her as my main. It hasn't been going all that well. In case you guys are curious, I have not been able to get out of Silver yet. Let's just say comp is a bit chaotic, because everybody starts at Bronze. And I mean everybody. As in all the good and bad. Everybody starts at Bronze and has to work their way up. So let's just say that you're probably going to end up running into some really good opponents in the process, which is going to cause some chaos and frustration. But I've also been looking to try and learn some other characters as well. There are some I haven't really dedicated that much time to, such as Black Widow or Psylocke, though I do want to play some more Psylocke, because I've been seeing some really good Psylocks, and I do want to see if I can get better at her. Winter Soldier as well, and of course... Spidey, but let's just say Spidey is not exactly the most accessible or welcoming of characters to play in this game, which I know sounds funny, since he's probably the most iconic Marvel character ever, but he's probably the most difficult to learn how to play and master, but we can talk about that when we get into the practice range. In case you're wondering, yes, there's a different variety of modes you can play. Quick match, competitive. There's a winter event going on. There's arcade, custom, practice versus AI. There is, of course, a battle pass involving things with skins and such that you can get. There are dailies, which are called missions, challenges, events, things like that you can be able to get. There's even this stuff here, which... From what I've been gathering, kind of picking up on, and I could be wrong on this, but I may end up doing a video just on these things here, because this is kind of supposed to tell some of the story of what's going on here. But basically, from what I gather, we have a multiverse story going on with two different Doctor Dooms that are basically causing havoc in the multiverse. From what I'm gathering in terms of the actual story. By the way, in terms of story and lore, if you want, you can go, if you're like, who the heck is Cloak and Dagger? Well, you can go here. They have this cool intro for the characters. They give this little summary, show you how difficult the character is supposed to be, should let you look at the cosmetics. You can look at the abilities, which they provide little videos to tell you how those are supposed to play out. They provide you some lore. They have a bit of a story for these characters in case you want to read up more on those. I may just do videos where I just read these, just to be able to learn more about these characters or when it comes to the extra lore and story. And then there's also proficiency rewards, such as you can be able to go over here and see, okay, if I do these things, I can then get these rewards, such as a new spray. I can change the avatar for these characters. It's actually like pretty cool, decent stuff. Also, not to mention that there's also this other thing called the team-ups where I would love if there are things about this game I really wish Overwatch would adapt, and I would tell them if I could have a chance to talk to the Overwatch developers, I would say, look, guys, if you want to keep up with what Marvel Rivals is doing, you need to start adapting the ideas that they have in their game into yours. This team up concept is great, and you need to start thinking about how you can utilize it in Overwatch. Seriously. This is the kind of thing that absolutely encourages you to learn how to play certain characters, or so you can team up with others to give them bonuses. An example here, Metallic Chaos. It doesn't quite show it here, but if you team up Magneto with Scarlet Witch, she gets a 10% damage buff, and he gets an extra ability where he gets to shoot up these projectiles with his melee weapon, which do really good damage. And that's just one of those examples of a team-up that can be really good and effective. Especially if, for example, if I have a Spider-Man on my team, and, like, I want to try and let him be better, I can just play Venom. Venom gets bonus health as a tank, and you know what Spider-Man gets? He gets a cool ability. That. So yeah, there are definitely, like, it's encouraging to learn how to play other characters so you can empower your teammates, Like, I'm wanting to learn more Moon Knight because Cloak and Dagger is constantly in my game because they are one of the best healers in the game. And Moon Knight is also a pretty good DPS as well. But Dagger gets a 15% healing bonus, and Moon Knight, he gets this cool invisibility ability, but even without that, it's not that big a deal because you're still able to get some really good damage. But the main thing for me is that I'm empowering my Dagger teammate because now she's able to do 15% more healing than normal, which is great. I love that idea and concept, and I want Overwatch to figure out how they can utilize it because that's just a great idea and concept. There, of course, is the store. Like I said, it's a free-to-play game, so of course there's going to be a store for you to be able to purchase cosmetics if you want. There's a lot of MCU stuff here. As you can see, I've already gotten some of them. There's a Thor Love and Thunder skin. There's Spider-Man No Way Home, Avengers Endgame for Iron Man, Wolverine's suit from Deadpool and Wolverine. There's a lot of really cool stuff here from the MCU if you wanted to go ahead and take advantage of that. There is a tournament going on involving actual players. There's a gallery where you can look at some of these things like comics and such. You can check out your, not just your own profile. You can check the leaderboard. And here's what's amazing. I love this about this system. I really would love them to utilize this. If I wanted to watch or look at some of the top players right now. Now, some of them have their profiles like not as public to others. But like one above all, this guy here, Rymazing, I can look at his profile, I can look at his stats and see what he has been playing, which I find interesting that he's played 34 hours this game, and he's got very balanced hours throughout the characters. It looks like he's put 10 hours on Moon Knight, 8 hours on Iron Man, which Flats considers the worst character in the game, and yet it's possible he's right, but I just don't think he's that bad. But maybe he just had a lot of bad Iron Mans or just didn't like how Iron Man felt. But I personally just don't quite think Iron Man is all that bad. But, I'm not saying I know better than Flats. I'm saying that is okay for sometimes people to perhaps, I don't know, for us to disagree on each other's opinions. I don't necessarily want to say that he's wrong because it's very likely he's right. I just don't necessarily agree that he's that bad. But everyone has their opinions, and that's totally fine. Now, here's the thing. Limited access to their combat history. If you find someone's profile, like I think Nevix is the guy that I wanted to look at, because this guy is actually one of the better tanks. He plays a lot of Hulk. He's one of the best Hulks right now in the world. And you can look at his history, and here's what's awesome. I love this. This was a game where he was the MVP. If I wanted, I can click on this, and you know what I can then do? I can watch the replay. And the replay system, oh my gosh, the replay system is so good. It's even better than the one that Overwatch has, because it allows you to look at the scoreboard during the replay for one thing, and the amount of options and controls and tools that you have when looking at a replay is just excellent. So it looks like he played mainly Magneto in this game, not Hulk, and he was 21-1, and he did the most damage. So yeah. But this is just such an excellent system. It's a great replay system. You can be able to check some of the highlights that you can be able to do. As you can see, I had some the other night. You can customize your profile with name cards, titles when you get them. I haven't gotten them yet. And there's, of course, various different achievements that can let you be able to acquire extra rewards. If I work on the achievements for this category, I can be able to get these kind of rewards here. If I get it for this, I can get some of these rewards here as well. This is another one that can let you even get an extra skin. Extra skin here for for Star-Lord if I wanted. So there's a lot of really good stuff here, right from the get-go when this game launched. So, let's go to the practice range, and we'll start looking at the roster. We'll take a look at each of the different characters. I'll talk about them. So, let's start off with, well, Banner, but we'll start off with the Hulk.
I'm not Hulk. He's part of me, but he's not all of me.
So, F1, if you want to look at if you're trying out a character and you're wanting to look at what they can do, this is one way you can do it. Hold F1, and you can see, okay, so this is what Banner's stuff is. You can see he has a couple of different team-ups he can have. He's 4 stars because, yeah, he's, well, you notice how he starts up as Bruce Banner here, right? And he can throw a grenade. He can fire his weapon. Excuse me, he can fire his weapon. Sound familiar? So, Banner is a combination of Diva and Winston. Or rather, I guess he's got those elements. By the way, you can change the practice settings if you want. You can actually put friendly fire on, and you can do the no ability cooldown if you want it as well. So, and that's if I'm in that room. It looks like even if I'm outside this room, I can still change my hero. That's excellent, actually. I don't have to just go back to this room to change. So, if I want to turn to Hulk, I can just press Q.
I'm Hulk.
So, can you see how he has that mix of Diva in there? It's like Diva going back into her mech. So when you're the Hulk, you can melee with heavy blow.
Everyone wants to take on Hulk. Idiots.
So he has his shift, which is a big gamma shield for him and allies.
No smashing us now!
It doesn't necessarily give you bonus health, but what it does is it lets you be able to get more ult charge. Because if I activate this...
No smashing us now!
So while the shield was up, you probably noticed how my ult charge is going up. You see it there on the bottom right? That's part of the idea, is that you're trying to get your ult charge even faster. So then he has his E, which is supposed to be like a crowd control ability.
Stick around.
Where you basically stun somebody for a few seconds. And then he has his right click, which is basically him doing a big, like, projectile forward.
Banner can't do that.
But the other important thing about this character is, like Winston, his jump.
There's gonna be a fight.
So I was watching Tim the Tatman react to a Nevix replay. And it was then I realized, okay, the thing about Hulk is that his jump is extremely important to how you play him. He is constantly needing to jump around to really, like, take advantage of what he can do. and how he's kind of supposed to be played, which is that he's not he's not necessarily supposed to be the kind of tank that jumps in, like, out in front of everybody and be like, focus me! No, what he's actually supposed to do, based on what I was seeing Nevix do, is he is the kind of tank that dives divers. So if you have, like, an enemy diver on, like, attacking your backline, you dive back on them and you're like, get off my team! Which is kind of interesting. I will say this, one of the things that's a little, I guess, frustrating for someone like me who has become rather knowledgeable about some of these characters is that we know some of these characters really well, that in our mind, the Incredible Hulk should just be this, like, dominant force, right? Because that's the Hulk. But that's not how he feels in the game, you know? I know that we're talking about a competitive multiplayer game that involves balance, but at the same time, you do want the characters to feel like the way they are kind of supposed to feel, right? So then, once he gets his ult, he gets to be even stronger.
Hulk smash!
Where he gets to be Super Hulk, where now he still has this and this, and he, of course, punches even harder, and he can still leap around. Now, there is something else you can do once you do ult here, where he can grab somebody and do this. You know, the thing he does to Loki in the Avengers, puny god. The thing is, though, it's really not that great. Flats even was saying never do that because you're basically just letting them have a chance to get healed. Because it doesn't do that much damage. It really doesn't. All you would really be doing is just kind of crowd controlling somebody for a few seconds, but you're better off just simply ulting and then, like, just constantly doing this, trying to crowd control somebody else. Where you're kind of like, that's when you kind of like feel like you're this like big unstoppable force like the Hulk is, right? So I haven't really been playing Hulk that much. He hasn't really been one of my favorite tanks to play, just because it feels like there's a lot involved when it comes to trying to play him. And it's just kind of unfortunate in that regard. Now what I do like, though, is when I have a Hulk teammate, someone who does know how to play Hulk, because then it allows you to play a couple different characters that can work with that. Now, this is great here. You can be able to actually, like, test out team-up abilities. So, as Hulk, I can be able to... I can't do this on Hulk. I can do this on other characters, and we'll get to those when we can. So, for the moment, we'll now swap to Doctor Strange.
Magic is not to be owned, but to be felt, experienced, lived.
By the way, if that voice is familiar, there's quite a notable voice cast in this game. I want to make sure I get his voice right here, and give him a proper name drop, because he's actually one of my favorites, because he voices my favorite character in WoW. So, Hulk is voiced by Fred Tatasciore. I hope I'm pronouncing that gentleman's name right. That is the gentleman who I believe voiced Zeratul in StarCraft. StarCraft 2, anyway. So, love that guy. Strange is voiced by Mr. Liam O'Brien, who you may know as either War from Darksiders or as Illidan from World of Warcraft. So, yeah, it's fun hearing Illidan's voice in Doctor Strange. So, Strange is a rather... He's actually a pretty good tank. He's actually considered one of the better tanks in the game, believe it or not. So, his main attack is this.
Ancient One, I hope my successes make you proud.
Hold on. I just realized that meant that I had unlimited ammo. I only bring that because I want to do this. Just to show you how long it takes to reload.
I purge the darkness.
Alright, so I did that for a reason. Actually, let me now go ahead and set it up to show you what it's like when you Hold on. All right, so let me go over this real quick. So you saw that main attack there where he's doing that cast there, right? Now he has his melee. I forgot that there is a melee weapon here. You see it does that, which is actually pretty good because it cleaves. It also contributes to his E ability, which is called Maelstrom of Madness. Release dark magic to deal damage to nearby enemies. So look at the mill right there below my reticle in the middle of the screen. You see that right there with the 73? That's the dark magic that's building up. When it gets to the top, that's when you want to release it because you don't want to hold it because it can do damage, like it have a negative effect on you. So you basically want to try and build it up, and then once you get up to as high as it can go, you then, boom, I purge the darkness, which does a big AoE to your opponents. Now, what's cool about when you team up with Hulk as Strange is that then you get Gamma Maelstrom, which Hulk charges Doctor Strange and Iron Man with Gamma Radiation. When Strange uses Maelstrom of Madness, he unleashes excess Gamma energy. So now that AoE I do... By the way, the other reason why it's good to do your melee... It's 10 of that Madness energy per melee attack. So now it's green, right? Boom!
Hosts of Hulk.
So yeah, you can see like the extra damage. Now, if you're able to land these crits, you're able to get like, I think it's what, 17 or so? It's a good amount of extra darkness energy there, and then BAM!
Wow, 4 in a row.
Glad I could help.
So yeah, it can be a rather fun team up in that regard. So he of course has the Cloak of Levitation. Because he's Doctor Strange, of course he does. What's funny, though, is that then he doesn't get to float back down. He just falls down. Which I find rather funny. And now... Okay, so there's a couple of things. His right click is his shield. This is what makes him a tank, right here. By the way, he can also go up into the air and do this. I am a flying shield. Of 800 points, which is actually pretty good right here. Alright, so now here's... Gosh, I'm hesitant to do this because this has actually crashed my game. His F ability is a portal. Pentagram of Faralaw. Open portals between two locations, enabling all units to travel through them.
I'm opening a portal.
So yeah, this right here... Let's just say I've seen some folks... like, they will do stuff like this... And then they'll put the other one at the doorway and get the enemy team to fall off the map. I'm not going to do it because, like I said, it actually ends up really messing with my machine.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Oops. It's okay, I'll show that to you in a moment. But yeah, the portal at times, it can be rather useful. It can also be rather cheap. You can use it to also get yourself like a very quick victory, like as in like sneak behind the point where the enemy team is not looking and get yourself a quick cap. I know it's a strat, but I still think it's cheap. Just because it's a strat does not mean it's cheap, you know? That's just my opinion, okay? I prefer that you try to win it against a straight up as opposed to using a cheap tactic. My opinion. So then we have his ult. By the way, he also has a passive called Dark Magic. This is what I was talking about. You accumulate the Dark Magic with every hit on enemy. If the Dark Magic peaks for too long, then he'll be cursed with an anti-heal. That's why you want to get rid of it with your E before it holding on to it for too long, because otherwise you're just going to make it where you can't get healing. So then we have his ult, the Eye of Agamotto. Separate nearby enemies' souls from their bodies. Damage dealt to those souls is transferred to their physical bodies. So, for example, if we do it here...
By the eye of Agamotto!
You see their souls there?
Enemy
We attack their souls, and then, yeah, the damage went to their actual, like, bodies. You can also attack their bodies while they're just kind of frozen there if you want.
Power from the one below all.
So just to go ahead and show it again.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Because they're basically, like, unable to move when that happens.
Double KO.
So yeah, he can be a pretty good, effective tank. Next we have Cap.
I was always meant to be a soldier.
Captain America. not the tankiest of tanks. He doesn't really, like, he has Sentinel Strike. Get up close to strike enemies, landing the second hit enables a shield throw that can ricochet 4 times.
We're gonna do what we have to do.
So unfortunately, I don't think there's a place where I can go to with enough
Enemy ahead.
practice dummies around
Engage.
to actually, like, show this. By the way, he has a sprint, like Soldier 76.
You're relieved of duty.
If you also want to throw your shield at a nearby enemy, just press E.
This.
Hurl the energy charged shield to strike enemies in a path. He also has F, raise the shield and charge forward. BAM!
This.
And his shift is sprint. Boost speed and enable Fearless Leap to leap into the air. By the way, you can set this to either hold it or to toggle it. You can do that actually right here in the settings if you go to keyboard, in my case, because I'm on PC, and you select Captain America as your hero, and then you go down to hero. Actually, that may not be it right there. Hold on. Wait a minute. No. There we go. Okay, so you select him. Now you go to hero, and you can see here there's 2 different things. Hold to raise shield or hold to dash. So yeah, there was also another option though. There was an option to toggle sprint. I'm trying to remember where that is, because I know it's here because I messed with it. Huh. Unless it's at a different option, but I know there was a way to set it to toggle where you can just sprint like this the whole time and then Fearless Leap! And then while you're up in the air, you can then do this. Boom! So yeah, he's very aggressive. You can really get around and like do a lot of like, you know, engagement and mobility and such. He's actually pretty fun to play. He's also, of course, got his shield. It's 400 points. It's not that big. The downside about this is look at the when I let go of the shield. Look at the cooldown of it. You see that 1 second cooldown? That is infuriating. When you put it down and then you're like, oh crap, and then you need to put it back up, but you have to wait for the cooldown. That needs to go away. That has to get fixed because otherwise it does not feel good. It really can get him killed in that 1 second. So then his ult is Freedom Charge. Shield held high. Carve a path forward, granting both himself and allies along the path continuous bonus health and movement boosts. Using Living Legend or Leading Dash while this ability is active. Can launch up enemies. So he will shout,
Assemble!
Take this.
and of course, isn't it just like something amazing hearing Captain America just shout, Assemble! And you saw, like, the bonus health he got while doing that. He'll also, like, you'll probably notice the trail.
Assemble!
So, allies who follow that path will, of course, get those bonuses. You can see the trail there. So, yeah, he can be pretty fun, and if he gets proper support, he can be pretty effective as a tank. I wouldn't say he's necessarily the best solo tank in the game, but it can work. You just got to give him the right support. Alright, now, Groot.
I am Groot.
Groot is pretty straightforward. He can launch vines to attack enemies. You can see it's got pretty decent range, actually. So here's from 20 meters. Right at the 20-meter line, you can see. So he's got a pretty effectively long-range attack at 20 meters long.
Groot!
His right click is a grenade spore bomb. Throw his explosive spore bomb that splits into multiple small explosive spores. So it could be a nice little effective AoE. His V is a combo with his arms, and Third Strike will likely launch up the hit enemy airborne. I don't usually see Groots do their melee though, so... The main thing with Groot, though, is that his E and his shift.
I am Groot! I am Groot!
So yeah, he can have up to like, I think it's 3 walls? No, multiple walls up. Alright, so it looks like 3 of these walls here. Okay.
I am Groot!
So yeah, he can have that many shields up.
I am Groot!
So, the shift one is a Thornlash wall. His passive is Flora Colossus. Wooden walls near Groot will awaken, activating an extra effect. Press left click while building a wooden wall to continue building additional walls. So if I get close, that's when they awaken and they have their extra stuff. The smaller wall here strikes nearby enemies attacked by Groot and his allies. And the other wall, when damage is dealt by Groot and his allies, will grant Groot a Groot bonus health. So you can see the bonus health there. You can see the awakened effect on them right there. You see that? Alright, so then we have... By the way, he also has a team up with either Jeff or Rocket, where they can ride on his shoulders and receive a damage reduction. In case you guys would like to see that, let's go ahead and pick our buddy Rocket. Because, of course, you have Groot and Rocket together. Where is it? Hold on. Oh, can I not do it? Huh. That's actually not available. I guess because I'm playing as Groot. That's funny. But, yeah, you could have them ride on top of your shoulders. They get damage reduction. His ult. Fire a massive vine cluster that pulls nearby enemies to its center and imprisons them. So, yeah, not exactly, like, the best or most effective of ults in terms of damage. But what it does is it helps provide crowd control. And you can... It's a great combo ult. As in, you can use this to combo with other things. So if you really want to group up the enemy into a specific spot and root them in, you can be able to do that with this, and then somebody else can be able to then do that. But you can see it's actually not that effective in terms of its range. I put it right here, and it didn't grab those. So the range on that is actually not that great, unfortunately. Alright, let's talk about Venom.
We were once called a villain, but now the universe will see the hero we truly are.
So, Venom's main attack are those symbiote, like, tendrils there. He also has a melee, which I found out you can actually combine with this as like a damage melee combo. Because there's a guy who's actually, he's only played Venom, and he's actually pretty good at him. And I was watching a replay, I was like, man, he's really utilizing his melee with his left click quite a bit. Which I guess really good players are going to do that. He has, his passive is alien biology. He can be able to, of course, wall crawl and sprint as well. Trying to show the wall run over here. So yeah, it can wall run. It's pretty great. His shift is swing. Whee!
Like lambs to the slaughter.
So he's only got the one, then he has to wait for it. He's kind of like Wrecking Ball, because then he also has his F ability, which is called Diving Strike. Dash to the, or rather, Frenzied Arrival, I guess it's also called, but when you see it, like, come on your screen, it says Diving Strike, which is that. So it launches him up into the air, deals damage. So he's kind of like Wrecking Ball in that regard. He also has one of his crowd control abilities, Cellular Corrosion. Unleash tentacles to slow enemies within reach, and enemies unable to break free in time will suffer damage.
There is no escape.
So you can see, like, once you stay close, like, they're able to just go ahead and...
That was fun.
You just keep them within range before they break it, and they'll just take damage.
Double KO.
We're going to keep.
That's 3.
Now we're having fun.
So then the other ability he has, which is supposed to be very effective when it comes to tanking, and just stand here and take some damage. Is Symbiotic Resilience. Generate bonus health against damage. The lower Venom's health is, the greater the bonus health generated. It's like, oh no, my health is low. What am I gonna do? So yeah, then we get that big bonus health shield right there. But if that's not enough, we have Feast of the Abyss. Burrow underground for free movement after a duration, or by pressing left click, devour enemies above to deal damage based on the enemy's current health, and generate equivalent bonus health. So then that gives us some health back as well. And you can combine it with your E to get a lot of bonus health. So yeah, Venom is 1 star. He's actually pretty easy to play and access in terms of, like, I guess complicated in terms of how to play, which I like. I like that this is a character that is accessible to play. Now, how effective or good he is, that probably depends, I guess. Like, to me, it's always going to depend on who's playing him, you know? To me, it's always been more so about, like, who is actually playing the character as opposed to how good the character actually is. I'd say he's still pretty fun to play and, you know, easy enough and accessible enough to learn how to play as well. So here's another place where you can do team-up simulations. So like I said, he'll provide stuff for Spidey and Penny. We'll talk about them later. Now we have Magneto.
I will do what it takes to protect my people, no matter the price.
So Magneto is mainly a combination of Sigma and Zarya. Like, he's able to project a shield either on himself. He can be able to put a barrier forward.
Your attacks are futile.
He can be able to launch these kind of like projectiles, kind of like Sigma's attack. He has another one that does a knockback there. And it's based on the rings on his back. You notice that? You can actually also get it to generate faster by absorbing projectiles. He's really good at absorbing projectiles. And this was also the case when you get to his ult.
Nature itself bends to my will.
By the way, I mentioned how he can give a shield to himself or an ally.
You need not fear.
Yep. And then we have his ult, which is a meteor, which draws in all materials around to forge an iron meteor that deals massive damage upon impact. Absorbing enemy projectiles can enhance the meteor's power, yet overloading it will cause it to self-destruct.
Fear Magneto! A fatal attraction.
So you'll notice how, as they were firing, it was actually going into the meteor.
Fear Magneto!
So you'll notice you gotta actually, like, the little circle on the ground there, kind of showing you, like, that's the radius of stuff it can actually absorb. So you actually gotta be, like, decently close to the ground if you want to make sure you can absorb everything that you can
Superior reigns supreme.
to make it more effective. Because you can use that to absorb things like, say, an Iron Man ult. So when you hear him do maximum pulse, So, like, to counter what Iron Man's doing, if you hear him say maximum, you can then... And that can actually absorb his ult into yours, and BAM!
Before Magneto.
It can actually be a pretty effective counter strat. So yeah, I like Magneto. He's pretty good.
Was that truly your best?
Alright, next we have the Mighty Thor!
I am Asgardian, but I feel a deep kinship with the mortals of Earth.
Oh, that reminds me, I need to get back to name-dropping the cast here. Let's see.
Is here.
So, Groot is voiced by Adam Harrington. Magneto is voiced by James Arnold Taylor. Venom is, of course, voiced by Steve Bloom. Of course he is. Oh, by the way, Banner is voiced by Joe Zieja. I think that's how you pronounce it. I might be wrong. And Thor is voiced by Travis Willingham. You probably recognize that voice. He voices Turalyon in World of Warcraft, along with Gazlo, which I find hysterical. He's also married to Laura Bailey. Lucky man. But I love this skin, by the way. This is the Thor Love and Thunder skin, where it makes him look like Chris Hemsworth, of course. Here's the awesome thing about this skin, though. It actually provides, like, a guitar riff whenever you use your abilities. So Thor is a tank that's very much about utilizing his abilities to also generate bonus health. The Thor Force. Consume Thor Force to gain bonus health. Landing Mjolnir or Bash on enemy will instantly recharge Thor Force. So if I hit, then I get Thor Force back. Bam!
I am Odinson.
You'll notice those 3 hammers on the bottom of the screen. It regenerated once I hit this enemy with the melee. That's basically how that works. And you'll notice the bonus health that I'm generating when I use my abilities there. That at first I was like 650, but now I'm up to 800. And he can get bonus health with when he teams up with Cap or Storm. He can also provide a bonus to Hela. But are you hearing the abilities? Or at least... Yeah, really, it was very brief there.
Our adversaries gather.
Alright, listen to this. Did you hear that? That guitar? So yes, you can use this to get around. I love that about this skin. You can actually use this to get to high ground. But yeah, hearing the guitar riff on this skin is kind of amazing. So yeah, you can be able to also do this.
Awaken the rage of battle. I smite thee. My power grows.
That's 3.
Battle fury burns. Our adversaries gather.
That's amazing.
I am Odinson. Slow down.
Unbelievable.
So yeah, you can just go ahead and keep spamming your abilities to keep generating that bonus health. And that's kind of basically the gist of how Thor plays. He's pretty fun, pretty effective in doing damage and being decently tanky. And then, of course, we have his ult, the God of Thunder. Soar upwards and smite the ground after charging for duration, inflicting damage on enemies within range. Listen to the music that plays during his ult here.
Beholds the God of Thunder!
Double KO.
I came, I saw, I smote!
Of course, Travis Willingham doing the classic, I came, I smote. He'll also say, 'twas but a scratch. Because we gotta get the Monty Python reference in there.
Beholds the God of Thunder!
Double KO.
Our adversary
But yeah, when you ult, you can either descend,
beholds the God of Thunder!
or you could go even higher.
Beholds the God of Thunder!
coward.
So yeah, Thor's pretty fun.
God's lightning.
And last amongst the tanks, we have Penny Parker. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and separate this into separate videos because it's going to take a while to get through this roster. And I don't know if my throat's going to be able to handle it. I may have to take a break or two in between. So we're just going to go ahead and look at the tanks in this one. We'll take a look at the DPS in the next one, and then we'll finish off with the healers in the last one.
Most spiders just climb walls. I'm psionically linked to a giant robot. I win.
Let me go ahead and set up the team up here. I mentioned the team up that she has with Venom. Because it's not just for Spidey, it's also for Venom as well. So let's go ahead and set this up.
We were once called a villain, but now
Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Let me go to the other one to fix that. Unless I just picked it wrong. There we go.
Pretty sure I'm still the coolest spider hero in any reality.
What I also like is you can see the little visual indicator there with the symbiote on Penny's suit there. So Penny is an interesting tank. She mainly gets her sustainability from bonus health from like webs in the area. So she can shoot a web like this, and she stands on it and gives her bonus health, right? Well, you can use that either to put that there, you can use your F to get to it, and you can do this to kind of get around the map. So if you need to get around the map faster, you can do this. Yoop! That's where some of her mobility can come into play. The other thing she can do to provide more of those webs is this right here, this little robot.
You know what to do, spiders?
So that is a bionic spider nest. Generates a bionic spider nest at a targeted area, periodically spawning spider drones and creating spider webs. While in the web, you gain healing over time and a movement boost. Excess healing will be converted into bonus health. So yeah, it's also giving me healing over time. You can actually see it when I am getting damaged here. You can see it constantly regenerating my health as long as I stand in the webs. So as long as there is a web or a spider nest nearby that I can stand on, I'll be able to go ahead and just stand here and just keep regenerating my health. Her main weapon is these cannons on her sides here.
Spider for the win.
And they just have infinite ammo. You can just keep firing this. You never have to reload. It's actually kind of nuts. By the way, notice this web is not going away.
Whoever they are, they don't look...
So if I wanted, I could just keep standing here on this web and just keep getting health regen. It's actually kind of nuts.
Double KO.
And this is why Penny has been in a lot of games. People have realized that she's actually pretty good. She can be pretty effective, especially on maps where you have to defend something. The other thing that makes Penny really good is her mines. Deploy mines that can be concealed within the confines of a web. So you can put this here and they'll be hidden within the web. Or you can just go ahead and put them out here. And that'll happen.
This is
So you could put this in front of a spawn door, for example, and when they walk out of the door, BAM!
good job, spiders.
Trust me, people have done that a lot.
Whoever they are, they don't look friendly.
By the way, she can also crawl on walls. If you hold space, that's when she can run up walls, basically. She doesn't necessarily do wall crawling, she just does the wall running. So she can, quote-unquote, crawl, even though she's not really crawling, she's just kind of running up the surface. So that's basically how she works. And then there is her extra ability from Venom, which is Armor Expulsion, where she is able to activate the symbiote in her to do an explosive amount of AoE damage.
Symbiote teeth activated.
So yeah, it can be an effective little extra ability, and both Spidey and Venom get this. Or, I'm sorry, both Spidey and Penny get this if they team up with Venom. And then those are her ult, Spider Sweeper. Enhance the spider suit, launching up enemies in its path and deploying mines, drones, and webs repeatedly.
It's spider time!
So you're just running around, deploying these at random.
Spiders get the job done.
You can be able to click those to be able to deploy them even more if you want.
How we do it in Tokyo.
And I think you probably saw how much she got a bunch of extra bonus health there, up to 1250 there.
Time! Perfect hit, spider!
And of course, if she's in the web, she's getting health regen, so she doesn't have to worry about her health going away or anything. By the way, this web also is a very effective counter against certain things. So let's say there is a Scarlet Witch doing pure... Okay, and then you can just web and it gets stopped. Trust me, it has happened to me.
Whoever they are, they don't look friendly.
It's a pretty effective counter to a number of things, including that. So those are the tanks in Marvel Rivals. When we come back, we will be continuing our look at the roster with the DPS characters. Stay tuned.